Ladies and gentlemen, just in case someone hasn't done this before, let's do a bubble flare real quick. This is a 2011 Subaru Outback. I feel like I put head gaskets on this thing not too long ago, and one of its rear brake lines have rusted off. The way Subaru does this is they run the brake lines from the ABS block right here inside of the vehicle for the rear, right there. That runs down the side of the rocker into this area where it goes down under the seat next to the gas tank right here. Then it's back out into the elements right there where we have a problem. We don't have a problem inside of the car, we have a problem outside of the car. But it's all one line. Now, I don't want to replace the entire line, I just want to replace the part of it that's bad. So I cut the line off underneath of the back seat where the line's still very healthy, and I will attach my new line there. My new line's nickel copper, so we will never have this problem again. So I've cut the old line off right here, and the first things first, I just want to get this plastic coating that's on this line cut off. Something like that right there. Now we're going to drop our fitting on there. You want to remember to put the fitting on first. It really sucks when you flare your line and it's nice and pretty, but you forgot to put the fitting on. Then you have to cut it off and do it again. So fitting on. Once you've done all of that, you want to take the ID burr out by giving it a little chamfer just like this. Does not take much, just a little chamfer. Every bit of material you take out of here changes the way it's going to flare. Now we clamp our die on here, and we want about 1/8 of an inch, 125 thousandths of an inch sticking out of the die. I believe in metric that's 3.175 millimeters. I don't know, this is why we still use the empirical system over here. 12's divisible by 2, 3, 4, and 6, and 10's only divisible by 2 and 5. That's the reason this is faster. But enough about that, let's lock this thing in here. I have these little nut style ones, but I imagine any style would work. Now you need a bubble flare die like this thing right here. The shape of this thing keeps the end of the tube together so that it flares behind it, making the double flare. And we just put that in like such. Now we attach this thing right here. This acts like a little press right there, and we just sort of thread this on like this. Make sure it's nice and straight. You don't want it to go in there crooked. Not at all crooked. Has to be straight. Just like that. Now we just tighten it down. I don't think you're supposed to use an impact for this, but I do. Good and tight. Let's see how that looks. Sometimes you gotta use pliers to pull these things out of there, but put that out of there. And that's what she looks like. Let's get a better view. There we are, that's pretty good. The main criteria is that it's not bigger than the nut itself. You want it to be able to fit in where the nut threads. And that's perfect. That's gonna work out just fine. Now we've got to put the little union on there. That's this guy right here. I just gotta get that tightened up. Something worth mentioning, the brake line I just flared has a wall thickness of 35 thousandths of an inch. We call that 090 in metric, but the actual measurement's 0.00889. It's the standard wall thickness for most steel automotive tubing. I know that because I used to work at a factory that did a lot of work with this kind of thing. But the reason I mention it is because if you're pressing a thicker material, you want a little less material sticking out of the die. And if you're pressing a thinner material, you want a little bit more material sticking out of that die so you can get the right size bubble flare. Make sure you leave yourself enough material so you can make a couple of mistakes. I'm aware that I made some mistakes in this video, but the point of the video does remain intact. I'm aware that I called the Subaru Forester a Subaru Outback, and I'm aware that I called the Imperial system the empirical system. My bad. Will you ever forgive me? I hope I didn't make any other mistakes. Please let me know if I did.